I'm of the belief that part of the reason why our socioeconomic and geopolitical systems are so corrupted and divided is because our spiritual view of reality has become so corrupted, and our religious institutions have become so corrupted and divided. I think that ultimately the truth is spoken in many different languages, and they use different words to talk about the same concepts. So I'm here to be a bridge between what seem to be dueling factions, when in fact I think we're all in the center, and the Operation Mockingbird media has divided us into these compartmentalized groups of warring ideologies. I think, for example, if you knew that there was a cure for cancer that was being suppressed by the FDA and by the NIH, do you believe that that should be released to the public regardless of the impact it'll have on the pharmaceutical companies' interests? But answer the question. Well, no, but it's a real question, because vitamin B17 has been stood in the way of by the FDA for decades. Dr. Royal Raymond Rife and his machine and its use of frequency to cure disease and improve health has been subverted and destroyed by the FDA. Well, the point is that Republicans and Democrat voters alike can all agree that if there's a cure for cancer, which there are actually many that have been suppressed by this government, which is corrupt on both sides, Republicans and Democrats, then it should be released to the public. These patents should be released because I'm sure Republicans and Democrats alike have had people die of cancer in their families.
Okay, but you're sharing the stage with people that have anti-Semitic views, that have anti-women views, and I don't. Maybe your message is pure. Maybe.
Well, didn't Christ?
But you're sharing the stage
support
with
a Nazi.
Let me ask you something. Did Christ not come into this world to help the sinners to repent and not necessarily the righteous? He said it himself. I come in this. Well, but here's the.
You're helping to amplify the platform.
Why don't you?
Hate.
You're not going to speak.
That's not how I see it.
Well, that's how we see it.
Well, and I appreciate where you're coming from. That's why I came over here to talk and have a civil conversation, so that you guys can get an understanding of what it is that I'm doing here and why. Because I really do think that our country is divided based on warring ideological tribes that have been created by the media and by the divisive government that we live under.
It is not creating
this.
The rise of white nationalism has to do with Donald Trump's verbose.
Okay, so here's the thing. Regardless of Trump, let's set Trump aside. Okay, let's set Biden aside. Okay, and let's talk about the voters. Let's talk about the American people as a whole.
You're talking about the voters whose vote you tried to overturn on January 6th?
Let's talk about the voters, okay? And let's talk about the idea that in American society, we have this idea of freedom of speech, right? So if somebody is espousing hateful rhetoric, whether it be people that are hateful against LGBT or people that are hateful against right-wing extremists, okay? They have the ability, based on the Constitution, to do that. And if what they're saying is wrong, or if it is hateful, then it will be exposed by allowing people to speak freely. And they will expose themselves as who and what they are and what they believe. This is the beauty behind freedom of speech. And this is why the founders of our nation sought to ensure that freedom of speech was secured in our Constitution as our First Amendment, and right to peacefully assemble. That's what you guys are doing here, right?
We have no disagreement.
So what's your point?
The point is that I think that we agree on a lot more than we disagree on. And I think that the reason why we tend to disagree so much is because we're being given talking points from these high levels of Operation Mockingbird. You know what Operation Mockingbird is? No. That's when the CIA infiltrated the mainstream media outlets in the 60s and the 70s to curb the civil rights movement and the anti-war movement. And they have been controlling the media ever since. Okay, so
I don't agree with you.
Have you looked into Operation Mockingbird?
Look, you are sharing the stage with people that are going to spout hate into young minds.
So then shouldn't there be a counter-narrative of love?
Is that what you're saying you're bringing?
Oh, dude, that's love, peace, unity, harmony, and freedom.
Are you going to get up there
Those
and
are what I talk
denounce?
about.
your fellow speakers?
I'm going to get up there and espouse what it is that I am for. And yes, I'll call out Nick Fuentes, absolutely, because he's
What about
he is
the
not a
other
good
ones
leader.
that are there today that are going to share the stage with you?
Well, if they have anything that is divisive or that is bad,
Everything
then
about them is divisive.
if they have anything to say that's divisive or negative, then I will address it in my speech.
All right. Well,
Why do you think you were invited to this event?
I really don't know. I think
Because
God
you
allowed.
desecrated our capital, dude.
Okay.
You made yourself
Clearly-
a celebrity
clearly-
by desecrating our capital.
Clearly, you don't understand the nuances of what happened on that day.
oh, we
And
understand. There are
Pretty
no
sure
nuances.
I saw you on the floor.
Pretty sure you also
In the Capitol.
expressed
Do
you know
remorse over
why?
that, and
Do you
now
know
you
why?
are changing your tune.
Do you know why the police were escorting me around the building?
What building?
Do you know why the police? Have you guys seen the footage?
Oh, I know what you're trying to do.
No,
It's
I'm asking.
Shameful.
No, do you know? Do
Shameful.
you know why?
It's shameful.
The
broke
reason why was
law
because
and
I
you
offered to help the cops.
You participated in an
Okay, I was
insurrection.
trying to help.
You were not
ensure
trying to help.
peace. I was trying to help and make sure that the chamber was cleared and no violence was occurring, no vandalism.
You expect us to believe that you broke into the Capitol.
I didn't break into anything.
Oh,
We're not supposed to do
the
that.
one we saw.
What's that?
With the horns.
Oh, is that him? Oh,
I was there.
Yeah.
So
Not only was he there, he desecrated the Capitol. He went down on the floor of
I
the
do not
Capitol.
accept the premise of your statement, but you're welcome to have that belief. The thing is, this is a free country, and I'd like to keep it that way. Even if I disagree with what you're saying, I believe in your right to say it. I believe in your right to
As
freedom
do
of
we.
speech.
Okay, we didn't call to shut this down.
Oh, well, I'm here.
We believe in free speech as well.
Good.
But we are here to say we don't have to agree with this free speech,
Oh,
and we
okay.
have the right to have our own free speech and stand up to it.
Absolutely.
Are you going to
So that's why we're here.
What's that?
Are you Jacob?
Yeah.
Oh, you're
Are you going to
famous
denounce
Jacob,
and
yeah.
condemn
Where's
it?
your
Jacob.
horns?
Left your horns
Famous
up.
Jake.
Okay.
Where's your horns?
Yeah.
Oh, I figured I'd come a little more cleaned up today.
Oh, okay. So I read that on Twitter that you weren't going to come if Fuentes was going to be here. Is
No,
that correct?
what it is that what I said was that I had no idea he was going to be speaking here, and had I known, I probably wouldn't have come. However, after a while, I began to ask myself, if there's young Republican minds in this building, and they're going to be influenced by someone, then should they be influenced by a radical like Nick Fuentes or somebody like myself who is going to be talking about love, unity, peace, and freedom?
He thinks he's not a radical. You think
Well,
you're not a radical?
you obviously haven't seen my interviews or listened to my spaces or my podcasts.
How do you know that?
Well, because if you did, then you wouldn't think I was a radical.
Dude, you desecrated the Capitol, man.
See, that
That's all
you've
you-
already made up your mind. You have a confirmation bias against what it is that I'm saying.
I have a
No, he
confirmation bias?
has
Wow.
a you're a felon bias.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
I got
Okay?
2 eyes.
Seriously, facts
years.
are facts.
Well, let me ask you this:
Saw.
wasn't George Floyd a felon? Yeah. So do you have a bias against him?
George Floyd did not commit an insurrection at the
Did-
Capitol.
no, but was
you
he a
committed
felon?
A felony.
Was he a felon?
It
So you
doesn't
tried to
ma-
overturn
No,
a
Why
no,
are
I
you
didn't
bringing
try to
up
overturn
George
anything.
Floyd?
And this is where it's like you
Why
guys are
did you-
allowing the Mockingbird media to make up your minds for you.
Why did
You
you-
don't know who
why
I
did you
am.
go
You
into
don't
the
know
Capitol?
what I stand for.
Why did you go into the
You
Capitol?
don't know who
Why
I
did
am
you
and what
show
I
up
stand
on
for.
January
And that's
6th in the
okay.
first place?
The fact of the matter is we have a lot more that we agree on than we can disagree on. I'm all for protecting the water protectors. I too stand with Standing Rock. Okay, I'm all for standing against Nazis and fascism and communism. I'm all
Standing
for
with him today.
No, I'm not. I'm setting myself apart, and I'm using this as a very clear opportunity to do
If you were
so.
setting yourself apart, you would go in there right now and say, I'm not speaking here today, I'm joining these folks out
Well,
here.
here's the thing.
That's how you would set
I'm
yourself
joining you
apart.
now to converse with you civilly and have a discussion so we can understand that we agree on a lot more than we disagree.
Hey,
So
want
are
me to
you
get
going
a
to go
picture of
in
you
there?
holding this sign?
Are you going to go in there and say,
yeah,
agree?
sure, why not?
I agree
I
with
don't
the crowd.
believe in Nazis.
All right. Are you
Okay.
going to go in there and go, I agree with the people out here?
Okay, there you go, bud.
All right.
You see, we can agree on a lot more than we disagree on. And I'm totally against Nazis and fascism. I'm totally against communists and communism.
Can you say that in that room?
I'm going to.
Because of the
See, so this is where it's like, listen, you guys can't judge a book by its cover, and I'm sure you know that pretty well by now, okay? And you can't judge a book based on what the media tells you the book is about, okay? I'm nothing like what the media said I am.
But you're a MAGA, aren't you? Are you a MAGA?
I am a libertarian and a constitutionalist.
So you're not a MAGA.
Once
Are you
again,
gonna
we're
vote for
talking
Trump?
about
Are you gonna vote
labels.
for
We're
Trump?
talking about labels, and these labels are divisive, and they are used to place people in certain camps that war with each other, as opposed to uniting over the very things that have been destroying this country for
Who do you
decades.
vote for in the Republican primary?
Well, I can't vote because I have a felony and I'm on probation. So what does that matter?
You can't even vote.
Well, I can in Arizona once my probation's over.
Would you vote?
But
If you see the field, the Republican field, you see who?
well, I'm a libertarian, so technically I can't vote in the Republican primary, or I can vote in the general election. I definitely won't be voting for Biden or RFK Jr. I definitely won't be voting for DeSantis or Vivek Ramaswamy, and unless Trump.
So you'll be voting
What's
for
that?
Trump, right?
Well, you know, there's a lot of things in particular with Trump that I support, like his getting rid of child and human trafficking.
Oh, good Lord.
Like.
Really, seriously? You have been conned by the media. You are just, I don't even know how to express it. You have fallen down a rabbit hole of this QAnon stuff.
Okay, so are you saying that child and human trafficking don't exist?
Oh my God, Trump never did anything about that.
That's not true.
Oh Lord. Okay,
Okay.
we're done.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he never
what
did
did
it.
Trump do?
In
Is
fact,
that what he said?
He was involved
Well,
in
there's
it.
a lot of things that I think that he did, like
Child
the Abraham
children
Accords
cages?
in the Middle East, the way that he the way that he
his
handled
son-
the situation with China
his son-in-law
and the
came
bad
out with
trade
$3
deals that
billion.
Obama's got us
What's that
into.
got to do with
Now,
child trafficking?
well, here's the thing. What you have to understand about child and human trafficking is that it is a global industry. It is the slave trade. It's a modern day slave trade, okay? And what happens is that governments, whether it be Mossad in the Middle East or CCP over in China, or even the CIA here in the United States, they use this underground child trafficking industry as a means of blackmailing politicians, bankers, CEOs, Hollywood movie stars and producers, so that they will be controlled assets in a much larger global system.
Trump make that better?
Well, there was literally like thousands more arrests regarding child and human trafficking. So many more than the previous 3 presidents combined
Yeah, I'm going to
before
look
Trump.
that up.
Okay.
And one of his best friends was a child trafficker. And
Are you suggesting that this notion about Jeffrey Epstein, you're saying
Yes.
he's one of Trump's best friends?
Yeah.
Well, here's the other thing. This is another reason why I support Trump.
He's got 74
No, he has charges. Now, the thing is that,
Yes.
and dude, the feds can indict a ham sandwich, okay? And the very apparatus that the left has been screaming about that has been corrupt for so long is the very apparatus going after Trump, okay? Now,
That's delusional.
well, no, it's not, especially
He's a
considering that
serial
Hunter,
criminal,
no,
man. And you're
especially,
sitting here supporting him still. After everything we've seen.
especially considering that Hunter Biden is being pictured and has video with him holding a firearm and weighing crack cocaine.